Welcome to the Football Exponential Podcast. I'm Chika, and I'm here alone today. I'll be analyzing the Premier League game week 8. And if you like whatever I'm doing, please smash the like button, follow, and then drop your comments. Don't forget to subscribe. So let's quickly go with the first game. Chelsea opened the weekend with a 3-0 victory over Nottingham Forest. It was an early kickoff. We started off, I think, by 12:30 British UK time. If you didn't watch the game, yeah, Chelsea were victorious 3-0. It was a very easy victory for Chelsea, but Chelsea didn't control the game. Chelsea failed to control the game. Now, if you look at it, the first half belonged to Nottingham Forest. The second half belongs to Chelsea, and Chelsea were just more clinical. They were extremely clinical. Because why did I say that? You look at the statistics. You look at the big chances created. Chelsea created 4 chances. Nottingham Forest created 4 chances. You look at the expected goals. Nottingham Forest had 2.35 expected goals. Chelsea had 1.67 expected goals. That means Nottingham Forest had more clear-cut chances than Chelsea had. You look at touches in the opposition box. Forest had 23 touches in Chelsea box. Chelsea had 20 touches. So then why did it end 3-0? It ended 3-0 because Forest failed to take their chances. And in as much as we can blame Big Ange Postecoglou for so many things, you can't blame him for being unable to put away those chances. Morgan Gibbs White, so many of them were guilty of missing chances. And against Chelsea, you are sure that you are going to pay for those chances missed. You look at the problem with Ange. Then now talking about Ange sacking is some people will say is unfair. Do I think it's unfair? It's difficult. Number one, what I think and believe and I'm sure of is Ange has the record for the shortest permanent managerial appointment, the shortest reign for a permanent manager in Premier League. It's lasted only 39 days. That is the shortest. For permanent managers, the shortest manager in the Premier League belongs to Sam Allardyce, but he was brought in with some games to go for Sunderland to save them from relegation. So he wasn't permanent. It was just till the end of the season, and Sunderland ended up relegated, and Sam Allardyce contract expired. But if you look at appointment, Ming Ange is the shortest with 39 days. How many games? I think it was 8 games. And then I think 5 Premier League games or 4 Premier League games. You can do very little with 9 games. Like he didn't have a preseason with the team. He doesn't know the team and expect him to change everything in 9 games. It is too short. He's not a magician. It cannot happen. But the problem I see is that he was the wrong appointment. That's what I think. I think it's not that it's too short or that he's a wrong appointment. Why do I say so? I was shocked when he was appointed. He was appointed with when Nuno had issues with Marinakis, who is the owner. Now Nuno was the one who was in charge. Nuno had a very good first season. I think Nottingham Forest was like second in the league by the time Nuno at a point. But towards the end of the season, they collapsed and they staggered and they ended up finishing. I think they finished 7th in the league. Now Nuno had the problems with the owner, and he dared the owner to sack him. And some people say he was unwise, but I don't really think. I felt Nuno had enough, and Nuno wanted to live with his head high and still get his money because he needs his money. Now you look at Postecoglou. What is the problem or what is the reason? Postecoglou plays an attacking football, possession based. He plays careless football. He's all about attack. He doesn't care about defense. It's all about attack. Just like the Brazilian team played in the 1980, just like Jurgen Klopp played for Liverpool, but even Jurgen Klopp had more control in his game. Postecoglou doesn't have any. He worked for him in Celtic. He owned the Scottish League, but I want to remind you that in the Scottish League, Celtic had the best players. So you can do that in a small league where you have the best players, where the opposition is not as good as you are. So you end up always outscoring the opposition. You don't care about the defense because the attack is so good that you can always score more goals. But in the Premier League, where even if you have the best attack, there are so many good defenses. For example, Arsenal defense is one of the best. You don't have that in the Scottish League. So you're bound to struggle if you want to replicate that in the Premier League. He tried doing it in Tottenham. It was good at the beginning. He struggled towards the end. And in his second season, it was abysmal. It was awful. I think Tottenham ended up finishing, I think it was 16th in the league last season. They barely escaped relegation. So I think that negative profile or negative branding is affecting Ange. Now, because why do I say so? Because even in I think Forest is 18th in the table. But if you trust your manager, you know he's going to deliver you. But right now, Marinakis, just like me, doesn't trust Ange to change to be able to rescue or to be able to win games. Because this is why, if you go by what he did at Tottenham, he lost a lot of Premier League games. Yes, he won the Europa League, but in the Premier League they were poor. So going by what you are watching, I think that is why Marinakis decided to pull the plug now. Could he have done it earlier? He could have done it during the international break. I don't know why he waited. But the problem is it was the wrong appointment, just like Bayer Leverkusen appointed the wrong manager in Eric Ten Hag, and they changed it after only one game in charge. It was the wrong appointment. But if you look at the game, you see that and attacking wise, Nottingham Forest played good attacking football, but it just didn't go in. And I don't know where Postecoglou goes on from here. I don't know what happens to him right now, but and I don't know who Marinaki is going to appoint, because Forest right now, they have amazing players. They have very amazing players. But if you look at this Forest team, who's the number one coach who you trust can change the team? It is Nuno Espirito Santo. Nuno is the ideal manager for this team. Then who's the coach who was sacked? It was Nuno. So right now, I don't know who they are going to appoint. They've been linked to Sean Dyche. They've been linked to Mancini. Mancini hasn't managed in how many years? He hasn't managed club football or whatever. He was with the Saudi Arabia. It was Italy. He won the Euro with Italy, but he failed to he failed to qualify for the World Cup. So that's another asterisk on his name. You look at Sean Dyche. Sean Dyche, yes, he's going to keep you up. But if you look at Sean Dyche, you look at Everton, look at the football Everton play right now with David Moyes, you'll be asking yourself, is Sean Dyche the right manager? Because at Everton, yes, they played defensive. They were difficult to beat. They were difficult to score against, but they were not offensive at all. Their offense was one of the worst in the Premier League during Sean Dyche time. Is it the kind of manager you want to hand over your team to? I beg to differ. So I don't know who they are going to bring. It's not like there's any manager out there for them. Now, you look at Chelsea. Chelsea, to me, what are the lessons Chelsea learned from the game? Caicedo is vital. Caicedo has to play most of the games. I don't know what happens if they don't start Caicedo, because you look at what happened when Caicedo was brought in. Now, secondly, also Guiu. Maguire might be a youngster. He might be young. He might not have the experience. But I think as a number 9, Chelsea need him as a number 9 more than Joao Pedro. I think he's better as a number 9, because he's not a better footballer than Joao Pedro. I feel Joao Pedro should go to the position that Palmer left behind. He should play behind the striker, because I prefer Joao Pedro to play behind the striker than having Enzo Fernandez move from deep going forward. Enzo should stay behind and play on partner with Caicedo, and if possible, they can have Romeo Lavia come in, or have Andre Santos come in and do some job. But behind that striker, Joao Pedro is there. Why has Joao Pedro struggled? Joao Pedro has barely taken any shots. If you look at the total shots he has recorded in the past 4 games, it's poor. He's starved of service, and he's a player, not just that he's starved of service. He's not a player who is very good with his back to post. He's a striker who likes to face the post. Unlike Guyi, who can play with the back to post, who is an area threat, who can trap the ball, who can keep the ball and wait for others to get into play. So right now, I think Guyi should be starting for Chelsea for the moment until the lab comes on board. Now you look at Joao Pedro also doesn't feed on scraps. The other guy, Gui, can feed on scraps. Gui can run. Gui can press way better than Pedro. So Pedro is still good, but until Palmer comes, because playing with Palmer, you're playing with a very technical player, you're playing with someone who's highly skilled. So then Chelsea's team is a very young team. Yeah, you can see that, because for Enzo Maresca is the first Premier League manager who has not fielded a team with a 30 plus player in his side. No other manager has ever done it in the Premier League. Only Enzo. Every time Enzo has fielded his team sheet or his has brought out his team sheet or his lineup, there has not been any player more than 30 years. It's all young players. So this team needs fresh blood. This team needs older players. They need experience. I don't know how they do that. Because they recorded Malo Gusto got red carded and it was their fourth red card in the last 6 games. That is poor. That is a recipe for disaster. If you want to win championship, you don't continue to do the same thing. Enzo himself was sent off against Liverpool. They're a good side. They're a solid side. They create chances and they have good players. They've shown it. They've won the World Club Championship. Enzo has delivered when it mattered most. When it seemed that they couldn't qualify for Champions League, he ended up finishing fourth. So Chelsea fans should trust the coach. They should trust the manager. But the problem is this squad is too young. Can they win a championship? I doubt. Not this season. Maybe next season. But they are a very good side. On their in their day, they can beat anything. So let's go to the next one. That should be Liverpool. Liverpool lost to Manchester United in the last game of Sunday. It was a 2-1 victory for Manchester United. Statistics alone, this was Ruben Amorim's first statement victory. This was the victory which maybe he could say that it announced him that maybe for the first time, whatever football philosophy he always claims he's doing, maybe it's working. And this was Manchester United's first win at Anfield in 10 years. This is their first win in 10 years. And this is where the first consecutive Premier League victories under Ruben Amorim. That is very, very special. That is special. Now, what was the reason? Let's go with Man U. What is my talking point? Talking point, Amad Diallo. The boy is special. The boy is special. He is underrated. People don't really talk much about him. Amad Diallo is special. He can play the number 10 position, the two number 10 position, just like in Buemo. He can play behind the striker. He can play in the central position. He can play as a wing back. He can play as a left back. That is how good he is. Now look at his numbers today. He had 96% pass accuracy. He created one big chance. He created the assist. He had 4 recoveries and he had 1 tackle. If you look at him, he had only 1 touch in the opposition box. That means he played most of his game behind the opposition, behind the penalty area, but he was still deadly. He can run. Now, for you to understand how good Ahmad is, think of Manchester United having Ahmad on the right side of the field and then having a player like Nori at Manchester City or Robinson of Fulham. If you think of them having like a Kukurea, like a Robinson, like an Nori instead of Dogu, you look at Dogu. Dogu doesn't really cross the ball very well. He's a very bad cross of the ball. He might shoot the ball, but he doesn't shoot regularly. He's physical, but he's not good aerially. So you look at whatever he does defensively, Dogu is not all that good. He could be caught out of position. So don't really know why they signed him. Maybe it was an emergency signing or they really needed a person behind in that position. You look at Dogu, you look at Dogu, you look at Dalo, you look at Mazari. These 3 players are not the quality of Amad Diallo. They don't have the quality Amad has in that position. Now, I knew that even though Manchester United struggled at the beginning, I knew they will win some games because if you have an attack of Cunha, you have an attack that has Cunha, Mbuemo, Fernandez, and then Cunha, Fernandez, Mbuemo, Ahmad, and then Mason Mount. If you have that attack, then you are going to score goal. But how consistent are you going to win those games? That is the problem. I don't think Manchester United are going to qualify for Europe this season, which should be the target. Like failure to qualify for Europe that doesn't mean the manager has to be sacked, but questions have to be asked, right? But I don't even think they can do that this season because defensively they are winning games. They won Chelsea, they won Sunderland, they won Liverpool. Now this is 4 victories, right? You could come up with the excuse Chelsea were down by 10 men, 9 men. Oh, sorry, by 1 man. Chelsea had 10 men on the field, but Chelsea started with 11 men on the field. So it's not the fault of Manchester United. Chelsea had the players sent off. You could say it is because of Manchester United's pressure that Chelsea collapsed and had the players sent off. So Now, right now, credit should be given to Manchester United when they win, because you shouldn't only criticize them when they lose games. But if you look at how they are set up now against some teams, there are some very defensive teams like maybe a Fulham, but give United credit. Nobody has won at what's the Fulham Stadium? What's it called again? I forgot. Nobody has won at Fulham more than Manchester United in the Premier League. Manchester United have recorded the most wins, followed by Arsenal. But at the same time, you look at a team who's defensively solid, like Everton. You look at Everton. You look at the likes of maybe Aston Villa, teams who are or Crystal Palace, who are difficult to break down right now, or Tottenham Forest, or Tottenham, sorry, Tottenham Hotspur. United, they are going to suffer. They are going to struggle in those games, because those teams will leave the ball and dare United to beat them. Those teams will leave the ball, abandon the ball, and tell United, come and beat us. So now we look at the formidable. You look at United's attack. The goalkeeper, he had five saves, 11 recoveries, two high clean. It's not like he was so good, but it was the confidence which he brought to this game. For a very long time, I've watched United game and I've seen the defenders, the players, everybody lacking confidence. The young man, Sen Lamens, he brought a lot of confidence. He made the defenders feel at home. He made the defenders to play the game, focus on the field. So some people are already comparing him with Peter Schmeichel. I don't think it's too early, but I don't think he might be that good. But even if he doesn't do anything, for him to bring the confidence, sometimes you see a goalkeeper, you feel when Arsenal signed Raya, I didn't feel he was a big improvement over Ramsdale. But as time went on, I realized how massive he is. Will Lamens be massive? I don't know yet, but I like what I'm saying. He did the vital saves and then he brought confidence to the team. Now you look at Liverpool. What is the problem with Liverpool? Gakpo, Liverpool are missing lots of chances, first of all. Now, what is the problem? They're missing two very vital players, Trent and then Diaz. Now, as the case with Trent, he failed to extend his contract and he decided to leave on the free. But the problem now with Trent is that Liverpool fans cussed him out and said all sorts of things about him, but he didn't mind. He still left. Now you look at him and they felt they had already good improvements with a good player to replace him in Conor Bradley. You look at Conor Bradley, they still bought Frimpong. But those players have struggled to replace Trent because Trent gave them control. What Trent gave Liverpool wasn't just about defense, it was the control. Trent could hold the ball, Trent could pass. Trent, like you look at if you look at Mohamed Salah, look at his game this season and look at his game last season. It could be that he's missing Trent because with Trent, Salah knew how to run in, how to be at the right place at the right time. Trent is the only right back, right? Yeah, you all know I love Rhys James, like Rhys James, my favorite right back. But when it comes to controlling the game, James is the only right back that comfortably could control any game in the whole 5 leagues in top European leagues. So they are missing him. They are missing Diaz, who helps them with progression and pressing. Liverpool pressing this season has been abysmal. It has been awful. It has been bad. It has been terrible. They don't press as a unit. They press. These people press. The defense press. The attack leaves stays behind. The pressing has been all over the place. So maybe that's the problem. Now you look at Diaz. Diaz is scoring lots of goals in Germany for the first time ever, he's scoring lots of goals. Would he have scored those goals in the Premier League? I doubt. I think it has to do with the quality of the defense. I didn't say quality of the league. For you also, you don't come from me. I said the quality of the defense. The Bundesliga defensively is just all over the place. You can't compare defensively the defensively the two leagues. You look at Diaz, they had somebody who could threaten, you had somebody who could hold the ball, had somebody who could attack with the ball. Gakpo is not like that. The Gakpo is more of a goal scorer. Gakpo is more of a goal scoring winger. So they don't have those two players. It might be impacting their game. But one thing that is very important that I fail to see is control. And a slot right now has failed to control so many games. I could give an example of 4 games. You look at their game against Bournemouth, the opening day game. I think he ended with a 3. I think it's a 3-2 victory for Liverpool. Look at the game against Newcastle United. I think it was a 3-2 victory for Liverpool. Last minute, the two of them. Look at the game against Chelsea. They lost it 1-2-1. You look at the game against Manchester United. They lost it 2-1. Liverpool failed to control any of these 4 games. I didn't bring up the Crystal Palace on. You look at Atletico Madrid also in the Champions League, where it ended up in a 2-2 draw. Liverpool have failed to control games. They are not playing like Jurgen Klopp. Even Jurgen Klopp's team at least scored goals. So the problem is 2 reasons. Liverpool have failed to control games, and second, Liverpool is not as clinical as they were. Look at it, the first half, Gakpo hit the goalpost or hit the Ludia 3 good times before he finally scored. He hit it 3 times. You look at Isak. Isak missed a one-on-one. I could go on and on. They missed lots of chances. This is not what we know with Liverpool. This is not what we know about Liverpool. Liverpool scored 6-7 goals. There was a season where Mane, Firmino, and Salah scored more than 15 goals on each comfortably. I think Mane was close to 20 something, Salah was on 20 something. It's not that team. This team depends on one goal to win games, right? You look at Salah before this game, he has scored 18 goals in 18 games against Manchester United. Salah struggled in this game. He missed a clear-cut chance. This is not the Salah that we know. So now the problem is if you fail to control games, at least you should score, which clubs did, which clubs team did. But they don't score and they don't control. So that's a recipe for disaster. You look at Eketike, for example, in attack also. Looking at in hindsight now, it looks like Isak shouldn't have been the priority for them. Why am I saying that? Yes, I believe Isak is going to come good. I pray he doesn't come good, but I believe he will come good. As a rival fan, I pray he doesn't come good. But that's all about emotions. That is not in reality. In reality, he is too good. Liverpool is too good. He's going to come good. And fans forget that he signed a 5-year contract. He didn't sign a 6 months. He didn't sign a 1-year contract. So even though he stinks this season, he can come good next season. It doesn't matter. So he's going to come good. But right now, looking back, I think in hindsight, they didn't need Isak because Eketike, whenever he comes in, lights up the place. Eketike, when he comes in, have that hunger, have that drive. Eketike, when he comes in, looks like he has been in Liverpool for years, unlike Isak. So when you have Eketike, I don't think the two of them can coexist. But to me, Eketike is so good, I don't think he has to be under any player shadow. That's how much I rate the young boy, and that's how much I rate him. I don't think he should be the number 2 offensive player in anything. He should be the number 1. That's how much I rate him. So when you have him at Isak, that means you have to make him play on the left, or you have to make him play on the right in the position of Mohamed Salah, which I don't think Mohamed Salah is going to be benched. So when he plays on the left, that means right then he has to Isak has to come first. But I don't think that's going to help his game, and I don't think you're going to get the most of him playing that way. So do I think Alan Slot is going to sort it out? I think so. He's going to sort it out. He's too good in his first season. People forget how good he was in his first. Yes, I get it. This is the second season, but I think Liverpool changed a lot in a short time, and it's beginning to tell. This is why some coaches like I remember David Moyes, he barely makes changes to his squad. While he was at West Ham, he hardly made changes, even at Manchester, even at Everton. Because even Lampard had a very good season. The first season, Chelsea finished, I think it was third that season. The second season, Chelsea had the likes of Werner, the likes of Havertz, so many players, and it went haywire. Just Chelsea went downhill. So for Liverpool to come good, they need to control games. So whatever Arne Slot has to do, he has to be fast before the pressure mounts. Because you look at Aston Villa, they are getting. You look at Villa. Villa has won, I think, like 3 straight games now, and they are winning so good. So Villa, they are coming up and they're in Europa. They are not in Champions League. So in the Europa League, they can afford to rest some players. It won't be as difficult as it is normal. You look at Arsenal, you look at Tottenham. Tottenham defensively is a better team. Offensively is not the same team, but defensively they are way better. So Liverpool has to sort it and pack it. Now let's go to the last one, Arsenal. Arsenal played a 1-0. Arsenal recorded a 1-0 win over Fulham at the Fulham Stadium. What are the takeaways? First of all, Arsenal are so defensively solid. Like, I don't think any amount of words can explain how good they are defensively. Arteta, even though I feel he's not a big game coach, in a sense that I felt he should have won more than he did. He's only won one FA Cup, and that was in his first season in over 4 years or 5 years now. He should win enough. He should win more. So, but I have to give him credit where credit is due. Defensively, he has sorted that in. For like 3 seasons now, if you include this season, like 4 straight seasons, Arsenal have had the best defense in the Premier League. That is not mean fix. That is not an easy fix. Now let me give you the records. Arsenal this season faced have not faced a shot on target in consecutive Premier League games for the first time since November 2020, since November 2003. And what was November 2003? November 2003 was hold on. Wait, since November 2003, and November 2003 was the season they won their last trophy. So is Arsenal going to win a trophy this season? I don't know, but they're that defensively good. Arsenal at the same time have played 11 games and they've conceded only 3 goals. That is the best defensive record in Arsenal's history of over 130 years. That is the best stats by an Arsenal team in their history. I'm talking of 130 games. And if you remember, Arsenal is one of, if I think it's the only side I forgot. I think it's the only Premier League side that has never been relegated that has never gone on relegation. I'm not just talking about the Premier League. Arsenal has never been relegated. So that tells you how good Arsenal has been over the years. It's not a team of yesterday like Chelsea. So for them to have the best defensive record in their season opening or season start is massive. It tells you how Arteta has taken this team to. If and you all remember, Hincapié hasn't even played yet. Hincapié was a champion. It was a Bundesliga winner with Bayer Leverkusen. He was their best defender that season, and he hasn't. No, it wasn't their best. They had Tar. I think it's Jonathan Tar or something that moved to Bayern Munich. But Hincapié was as good as Tar, and he hasn't even played yet. They have Masquera. They also have White, Ben White. That is how good they are. They have Califiori. They have Skelly, Miles Kelly. So that is how good they are. So now the win against Fulham, it wasn't anything flashy. Just go and get the win. And if you set your defense that good, you know you are going to win games with the likes of Saka, with the likes of Declan Rice, with Gyökeres. The only problem I have with Arsenal this season is I feel that Gyökeres is struggling. But I understand because it's not that he's playing very very bad, but if I watch him play, I think if I'm a coach, it's better I have Havertz in that team than Gyökeres. And you know how bad it is when I say it's better have Havertz in the team over Gyökeres because even though Havertz did his job, Havertz is not a number 9. Arsenal fans still yearn for still long for a number 1 and still ask for a number 9. So if at this stage now with Gyökeres, because he's not been very physical, I think he's gone 16. I think he's gone like 17 games for club and country without scoring a goal, and is it 17? No, hold on. I forgot, but that's his greatest drought in over. The last time he had that drought was in when he was in Coventry and in Sweden for club and country. So he is really, really struggling, extremely struggling. But he's going to come good. I believe. I pray he doesn't come good, but I believe he's going to come good. So right now, if you ask me as a coach, which team would I prefer right now, or as a somebody who's going to bet on any of these teams, I'd rather be Arsenal. Arsenal has everything to win the trophy this season, but if they would do it, that's a big if. So thanks everyone. Thanks for joining us. Join us once again next week for more recap and more review. For now, remain blessed. Thank you.